The theory of gender complementation is the topic of our discussion today. It is a system of gender interaction because gender interaction plays a big role in the development of the society. A dysfunctional system of gender interaction can set a society backward, while a functional system of gender interaction contributes to the progress of the society. Everything I have read about the system of gender interaction were written by feminists who were mainly white women and men. The feminists define patriarchy as a system that supports abusive male dominance of women. The feminists also define feminism as gender equality, which is an antidote to patriarchy. According to feminist portrayal of patriarchy, it is a dysfunctional system of gender interaction. According to my observation of feminism or matriarchy, it is equally a dysfunctional system of gender interaction. I think human race is doomed if these two systems of gender interaction were the only ones available to us. I realize that the whole story has been one-sided and each a half-truth. Feminists are not in a position to tell me what to feel and how to perceive the system of gender interaction. I carried out a personal observation of the system of gender interaction using the Igbo culture. What I discovered was neither patriarchy nor feminism, but a system of gender complementation, which I followed to formulate the theory of gender complementation. What is gender complementation? Gender complementation is the understanding of the traditional male and female behavior as a system of interaction that is biologically and psychologically wired to work together for their individual fulfillment and for the common good of the species. The traditional male and female behavior synchronizes with biological nature and the psychological need of the opposite sex. Every singular traditional behavior of men and women was meant to interlock with that of the opposite sex, like two matching pieces in a jigsaw. If a male behavior is an advantage, it is more like a protraction on a piece of jigsaw puzzle. And if it is a disadvantage, it can be viewed as a retraction on a piece of jigsaw puzzle. Each piece of male behavior has an equally matching female piece. So wherever it is a protraction on the male piece, it is a retraction on the female piece, and vice versa. If a society distorts women's behavior, the women's behavior can no longer interlock with the male behavior with which it was intended to match. So that piece of women's behavior becomes damaged in the traditional view of it, and vice versa. When a piece of a jigsaw puzzle is damaged, it equally makes the matching piece useless. So when a behavior of a gender is distorted, it equally affects the matching behavior of the other gender, making it useless. In gender complementation, each gender has areas of power. What are areas of power in gender complementation? The natural advantage which a gender possesses for proper gender complementation is the area of power in gender complementation. A gender contribution to survival of the species is the major factor in gender complementation. Human sexuality is a major contribution to the survival of the species. So it is a relevant activity that brings about gender complementation, and for this reason, the major area of power for each gender is the value or position of their sexuality in connection with the opposite sex. Men in their major area of power in gender complementation possesses sexuality that has direct commitment value and indirect sexual value, which means that men trigger commitment in women by simply having sex with them, but their sexual attraction is not valued much on appearance alone. Therefore, men need to possess other abilities in order to become sexually charming. So men develop physical strength, ability to provide and protect, which is men's minor area of power in gender complementation. Women in their major area of power in gender complementation possess sexuality that has direct sexual value and the indirect commitment value, which means that the form of the female body has high capacity to trigger sexual attraction, but they cannot trigger commitment in men simply by having sex with them. Therefore, women need to possess other qualities in order to trigger commitment in men. So women develop emotional intelligence, the power of childbirth, and the virginity or a sense of pride in sexual decency, which is women's minor area of power in gender complementation. Because humans are wired for gender complementation, each gender is drawn to the area of power of the opposite sex. For instance, women have direct sexual value as their area of power, so men are more drawn to have sex with women, while men have direct commitment value as their area of power, and women are more interested in commitment with men. So what are the principles of gender complementation? The principles of gender complementation are the laws of nature that guides gender complementation. The first principle of gender complementation is the principle of equality. It states that for every advantage or disadvantage nature gives to a gender, there is a matching advantage or disadvantage in the opposite sex. Example 1 is about the strength of each gender. Men are relevant because nature gave them the physical strength and the drive, which makes them more productive in providing for the survival of the species. Nature created a balance by giving women the power of childbirth, which is very important for the survival of the species, thereby making women equal in relevance to men. Example 2 is about the weakness of each gender. Men do not have much control over their sexual desire towards women. Women do not have much control over their emotional commitment towards men. The second principle in gender complementation is the principle of equity. It states that every advantage and disadvantage nature gave to a gender, there is a compensation they will make and the benefit they will receive, respectively, in their interaction with the opposite sex. Example 1. Women's sexuality have direct sexual value, while men's sexuality does not. Women's compensation for a sexuality with direct sexual value is they need to maintain the sexual value of their sexuality by being sexually decent in order to get commitment. Women's reward for a sexuality with direct sexual value, they are wanted just for themselves and get attention and gifts. Men's compensation for a sexuality without direct sexual value, they have to struggle to get sex by achieving status or gathering resources. Men's reward for a sexuality without direct sexual value, having different sexual partners, does not lower the commitment value of their sexuality. The third principle in gender complementation is the principle of elimination. It states that when the evolutionary behavior is eliminated, it will eliminate the resultant compensation of the interacting behavior in the opposite sex. Example, heterosexual relationship has right of sexual negotiation. Men are sexually forward because they are negotiating for sex, while women are sexually defensive because they are negotiating for commitment. If the male sexual forwardness is condemned by the society, making it hard for men to negotiate for sex, it automatically condemns women's sexual defensiveness, making it hard for them to get commitment from men. 2. If women are condemned for desiring to marry wealthy men, it equally condemns men's desire to marry beautiful women. The fourth principle of gender complementation is the principle of dual compensation. It states that if a gender adopts a behavior that is evolutionarily meant for the opposite sex, which did not lower the gender's area of power, then the gender will receive dual reward, that is, the reward of the gender and the reward of the opposite sex, without the compensation of the opposite sex. But if the adopted behavior lowers the gender's area of power, it will result in dual compensation for the gender, that is, the compensation of the gender and the compensation of the opposite sex without the reward of the opposite sex. Example 1. If a woman becomes wealthy, which gives her the power to provide, it will result in dual reward because being able to provide does not diminish her area of power, which is the power to give birth. She would have women's reward for having the power to bear children, which involves being valued for themselves, and their compensation involves sexual decency. Men's compensation for not having the power of childbirth involves having the responsibility to provide and protect, would not be required of her. But men's reward, which involves being respected as powerful, will be bestowed on her. In other words, She will be respected as a powerful, independent woman, but she will not be held responsible for not providing for a man. Example 2. When a man is feminine, it diminishes his area of power as a man, which is the ability to provide and protect. So it will result in double compensation for him. He will not get the reward of being valued as physically weaker because he does not have a womb. Yet he will inherit the compensation of being the weaker gender, which involves not being considered very useful in other areas of life. In addition to that, he still has the compensation of being born into a gender that is physically stronger. The compensation includes being bestowed with the responsibility to provide and protect. The principles of gender complementation have a system of orderliness that is consistent with the general behavior of a particular gender in relation to the opposite sex. For instance, men are relevant because nature gave them the physical strength and the drive to work, which makes them more productive than women. Their sexuality has no direct sexual value, so they need to compete for sex. Competing for sex makes them share their resources with women. Because they need to achieve status or resources in order to get sex, the peak of their sexual power comes later in life, from 30 years and above. This condition synchronizes with each other in intergender relationship because a man's struggle for sex makes him fight for resources, and therefore he needs time to gather enough. So nature makes him reach the peak of his sexual power at the age he is supposed to have achieved these requirements. On the female side, there is the same synchronization. For instance, she does not have the physical strength, but her sexuality has direct sexual value. So she does not need to compete for sex. She is wanted for herself and not for her resources or status. Therefore, she does not need long time to reach the peak of her sexual power. She reaches the peak of her sexual power when she is young. Imagine a situation where women bear children and have greater physical strength than men. Then there will be no gender complementation, and the men will go into extinction, which will lead to human being going into extinction. Also, imagine a situation where men who have evolutionary responsibility to provide reach the peak of their sexual power early in life and it ends before midlife. It will result in men not being able to carry their responsibility, which will then make women not to want to reproduce, thereby resulting in extinction of our species. The principles of gender complementation correspond with evolutionary theory and our biological nature, so it is scientific. Gender roles are based on the principles of gender complementation. That is why there is no culture which requires a man to stay at home and nurture children while women go to farm. Relationship between gender become dysfunctional when a social system that does not follow the principle of gender complementation is introduced into the society. Dysfunctional gender relationship devalues love, destroys interest in starting a family, and degrades one gender or both. This affects societal progress because when both gender are not at peace, they lose focus and motivation towards contributing to the good of the society. Gender complementation is a powerful balance between men and women. That's why it is impossible for any gender to break the chain of order without consequences. For instance, nature allowed men to have the power to successfully subdue women because the principle of gender complementation has protected women by making it impossible for human race to survive if men kill most of the women. Nature allowed women to have the privilege of continuing the human race if they kill most of the men, because the principle of gender complementation has protected men by making it impossible for women to have the power to successfully subdue men, and any attempt to subdue men will result in greater frustration for women. People who do not understand the power of gender complementation would think that men will get away with destruction of women, or that women will subdue men without consequences. Men who don't understand the principle of gender complementation are often scared of women empowerment, while women who don't understand it often think they can subdue men without consequences. If people understand the principles of gender complementation, each gender will become honest about their strength and weakness and know how to support each other. In this way, family will be restored, the society will become more loving and more progressive.